In this video, we'll look at creating breakfast table and bar stools. First, let's start with a new Blender file and delete existing objects. We'll create the breakfast table top here. Press Shift+A and add a circle. Numpad, period key to zoom in and frame the selected circle. Tab into Edit mode. Numpad 1 for front orthographic view. Press E+Z keys. Hold Ctrl and move the mouse to extrude on Z-axis as shown. Tab back into object mode. Add a Bevel modifier and a Subdivision Surface modifier. Adjust Bevel and Subdivision Surface modifier settings as shown. Go to front view by pressing Numpad 1. Press G, Z, and Numpad 1 keys to move the table top object 1 meters to the top. Next, we'll create the table legs. Press Shift+A and add a cube. Scale it down as shown here. Press S key and type 0.5 to scale down the size by half. Press G+Z key and type 0.5 to move the cube above the x-axis. Next, scale down to 1/10 on x-axis by pressing S and X keys and typing 0.1. Select the cube and tab into Edit mode. Press /key to hide the rest of the objects. Enable Face Select and select the top face of the cube. Press Numpad 3 for side view. Press S and Y keys to scale along Y-axis as shown. Press / to unhide the tabletop. Create a linked duplicate with Alt or Option+D key. Left-click to confirm. Select the duplicate cube and press R and Z keys and type 90 to rotate it 90 degrees on Z-axis. Rename the objects as shown. Select the 3 objects in the outline and move them into their own collection. Press M key to create and move the object to new collection. Select both the table legs and then select tabletop. Press Ctrl+P key to parent. Now the table model is ready. Next, we'll work on creating a bar stool. Numpad 7 for top view. Hold Shift and right-click to move the 3D cursor as shown. Press Shift+A and add a circle. Press S key and type 0.25 to scale it down. Before we move on, select both the table legs and apply scale. Now, select the newly added circle mesh and tab into Edit mode. Press F to add a face to the circle. Press Numpad 1 for front view, then press E+Z keys and move mouse holding Ctrl key to extrude. Tab back to object mode. Add a Bevel modifier and adjust settings as shown. Also add a Subdivision Surface modifier and set the Levels viewport to 2. Move the bar stool seat as shown with G+Z keys. Next, add a cube for bar stool legs with Shift+A keys. Scale down the cube and align it with the bar stool seat as shown. Press S key and drag the mouse inward to scale down. Press G+Z keys and move the cube up on Z-axis. Press S+Z keys and drag the mouse to adjust scale on Z-axis. Hold down Shift+Ctrl for precision snapping while scaling. Press S plus X and Control key for scaling down on X-axis as shown. Press numpad 3 for side view. Press S plus Y and Control key for scaling down on Y-axis as shown. We can add an array modifier to create the 4 legs of bar stool. Select the cube and add an array modifier. Change the shape to circle. Increase the radius and set the count to 4. Now tab into Edit mode. Select the bottom face of the cube wireframe in the middle. Press G plus Y keys and move the mouse slightly as shown to create slanted look for the bar stool legs. Tab back into Object mode. Now we need to create supports for the bar stool legs. To do that, select the bar stool seat and press Shift plus D to duplicate. Press Z and Control plus Shift keys to align the duplicated object as shown. Create another duplicate object and align it to just below the bar stool seat. Select the newly duplicated objects. Right-click and select Join to join both the objects. Select the bar stool legs and apply the array modifier. Select the bar stool legs and the duplicated circles and press Command or Control plus J keys. Now the Bevel and Subdivision Surface modifiers are applied to the bar stool legs from the duplicated circle objects. Rename the objects as shown. Hide the seat in the outliner window. Tab into Edit mode. Select the top and bottom faces of the 2 objects and press I to inset as shown. Deselect all. Select the top and bottom faces of the object. Right-click and select Bridge Faces. Do the same with the top object. Move the mouse onto the top ring and press L to select Linked under Cursor for isolated selection. Press S and Shift plus Z keys to scale down along X and Y axes while restricting it in Z axis. Press Option or Alt and click on the top faces while in Face Select mode. This selects the top face loop. Press numpad 1 for front view. Press S and Shift plus Z keys to scale the top faces inward as shown. Move the mouse onto the top ring and press L to select Linked under Cursor for isolated selection. Press numpad 1 for front view, then press G and Z keys and move down slightly as shown. Now do the same with the bottom rings. Tab back into Object mode. Unhide the bar stool seat in the outliner window. Select the bar stool legs first and then the seat and press Ctrl plus P keys and select Object to parent the legs to the seat. Now the bar stool model is ready. Let's increase the bottom width of the table legs. Tab into Edit mode and select the bottom face and press numpad 1 for front view. Press S and Shift plus Z keys and scale as shown. Because the legs are linked duplicates, the transform change reflects in the other leg object by default. Press numpad 7 for top view. Now we want 4 bar stools around the table. I'll show a couple of ways to do that. Select the bar stool and add a mirror modifier. Set the mirror object to tabletop using the picker. We'll address the missing legs, but before that let's change some settings in mirror modifier. Select X and Y options next to axis in mirror modifier. Now to mirror the legs too, select the legs of the bar stool first and then click on the seat. In the modifier window, click on the down arrow in the mirror modifier header and click on Copy to Selected. This copies the mirror modifier to the legs and mirror them. The second way to do this is with linked duplicates. Remove the mirror modifier in both the bar stool seat and legs objects. Select bar stool seat and legs objects. Press Option or Alt plus D keys to create linked duplicates. Press Y and type 2 to move the linked duplicate object 2 meters on Y-axis. Press Option or Alt plus Z keys for X-ray mode and press numpad 1 key for the front view. Box selecting the bar stool now selects the one behind it too. Press Option or Alt plus D, then press X key and type 2 and minus to move the duplicates -2 meters along X-axis. Now the table and bar stools modeling is complete. Thank you for watching. In the next video we'll look at creating plates filled with an omelette and a slice of bread.